Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 165 of Is This Thing Working? Good morning, Denise. How you doing?
I am doing awesome on this Wednesday, hump day, everybody. It's always Wacky Wednesday here on Is This Thing Working? Welcome to the show. Today is day 3 of the RNC, and the theme for today is Make America Strong Again. So we're going to go along with that theme. But one of the headlines at the RNC yesterday evening was Sarah Huckabee, and we're going to play a portion of what she had to say.
When we're honest, every American knows that we were so much better off under President Trump. So tonight, I don't want to just speak about President Trump's successful policies. While there are many, I want to talk about the man that I know. When the president hired me, I was the first mom and only the third woman to ever serve as the White House press secretary. And in that role, I endured relentless attacks from the left. I was insulted as a guest at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. My family was denied service and kicked out of a restaurant. And a parent at my 3-year-old son's preschool spit on my car. And in those moments, it was President Trump who defended me. And when an MSNBC host, the author of several books on empowering women, said I was unfit to be a mother, and another MSNBC host said I was vile, not even human, and that I should be choked, MSNBC again did nothing. But our president pulled me aside, looked me in the eye, and said, "Sarah, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're tough, and they attack you because you're good at your job. Never let them stop fighting." Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. That's the Donald Trump that I know, and that's the Donald J. Trump I will always respect.
And that was Sarah Huckabee giving a tremendous, wonderful speech yesterday. And you can see what she did there is she highlighted the left and their total awfulness toward her when she was working for President Trump there in D.C., toward what he said that we were going to continue to do. And even when he stood up after he got shot.
Right.
He said, fight, fight, fight.
And you know, the crazy thing is about all of this is the fact that TDS is real, man. These people are evil because think about this. It's not as though they view you as just somebody who thinks differently than you. It's not that they view you in the whole perspective of hate and you are their enemy. And that is the most evil and inhuman thing you could ever do to another person.
Especially here in America.
A person that you personally don't know.
So a lot of times we agree to disagree on a lot of things, and we've always done this. But the left has gone so far left that they have hate in their heart for everybody. I mean, including their own people. I'm sorry to say this, y'all. They have hate in their heart. You know, I always post things.
They're uncivilized.
And say they just don't know how to be happy. They don't know what comedy is anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they totally do not have a happy existence.
They don't. They really don't. And it's sad. It's sad to see other people be that way. One of the best descriptions that I've seen or read about people that behave that way and people that think that way and they have that perspective, they're feral, they're wild, they're uncivilized. You know,
and just, you know, the question will always remain is, how did this happen to our children?
And look, what Sarah brought to you was an example of the heart that Donald Trump has, the goodness that he has, the respect that he has for other people, and the fact that what he wants to do each and every time when he meets somebody or knows somebody, he looks to lift them up, man. He looks to make them feel good about themselves. He looks to encourage them and strengthen those things in them that they have, which is goodness and kindness and all those different things that make a human
you
beautiful.
Can be anything you want to be here in America. You can do that. That's what he puts inside of you.
Exactly.
And look at the amount of people that have risen up and have never looked at politics in their life. They're like, I don't want nothing to do with it. President Trump has made you part of the conversation.
Exactly.
And the people love it, and they're involved in it because they have a voice now, and they have had to fight every single minute for that voice.
Exactly. We would like to welcome our new sponsor to Is This Thing Working? So help us welcome Cornbread Hemp. Their mission is to draw on Kentucky's 250-year legacy of growing hemp, as well as the state's unique climate and soil, to manufacture the highest quality cannabis products available in America. They proudly offer full-spectrum, USDA organic CBD products with up to 2 milligrams of THC per serving. Their plants are grown in what's known as the Bluegrass Basin, which produces the highest quality hemp alongside the best bourbon and fastest racehorses. Cornbread Hemp is one of the very few, if not only, CBD brands in America who exclusively use the hemp flower to create their CBD extract, called Flower Only CBD, and they want the world to know. In a side-by-side comparison to a market leader, Cornbread Hemp checks all the boxes. They are USDA certified organic, flower only extracted, full spectrum, free of artificial colors and preservatives, and they are third-party lab tested.
Cornbread Hemp supports me on my wellness journey. I love cornbread hemp gummies. I especially enjoy the watermelon gummies. After work, when I feel overwhelmed, I take a gummy and I go for a relaxing and calming swim. So make sure you get you some cornbread hemp gummies. I take them daily. So whether you choose to take cornbread hemp gummies, oils, lotion, or whatever you choose, take them daily and discover a delicious way to improve your health and well-being. And if you're having problems with winding down for the day, try out Cornbread Hemp Sleep Gummies or the lotion, which I use every night to soothe my joint discomfort. Please check out Cornbread Hemp by going to cornbreadhemp.com right now for a 30% off your initial purchase of any products on the website. Again, go to cornbreadhemp.com and use promo code ITTW for this special offer. Remember, you get 30% off, promo code ITTW. And before we start the show today, we want to state these are our opinions and our assertions. And if you agree with us, please tell your friends and share the show.
And if you don't agree with us, tell your friends and share the show.
Also, stomp that like button and please follow or subscribe wherever you see the name Is This Thing Working? And our podcast is available for download on all platforms. For example, Apple and Spotify. And we are on YouTube. But please download that Rumble app so you can follow the show and you will receive instant notifications when we go live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, everybody, for everything you do for us. And let's get on with the show today. Bannon Watch, of course, is 108 days left of the prison life. But guess what? Peter Navarro is freed this morning. Breaking news. This happened first thing this morning. I'm so excited. I hear he's on his way to Milwaukee.
That is so awesome. And in my opinion, hey, man, Steve Bannon ought to be right there with him today.
Yes, he's already out there giving little bites, sound bites. I just seen on CNN where he said that anyone that knew he worked for President Trump would high five him in the prison. So I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure that Dr. Navarro, when he left, he just had an amazing amount of friends from the prison. He's just such a sweet person. I couldn't imagine anyone being against him.
That's how far our country has fallen, too, is the fact that you've even got criminals now in prison that are incarcerated for what they've done wrong, but they see the true injustice of the system, and who knows how many of those people sitting in prison was treated the same way as President Trump has been treated.
And him
in a court
as
of
well.
law. Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon.
I'm pretty sure we'll be hearing some stuff about that.
Man, you bet. So for them to high-five him and be on his side and support him doesn't shock me at all at this
Me
point.
neither.
Because that's one of the things that we're going to kind of touch on today is the fact that not only does Joe Biden hate Americans, not only does the system itself hate the citizens and think that we're subjected to them, it also shows that we have that same thing coming right back at you, buddy.
Yes, we do. We got eyes on you. And that's a good thing about social media nowadays. You have, I mean, everybody's eyes and everybody researches now. And, of course, COVID taught us that. The mainstream media taught us that, hey, we don't believe anything you say. We have to go look for it ourselves. But what is our task and purpose today?
Action, action, action. Be informed and become engaged. Natalie Winter said it best, too. She reminded us on Warroom that we, the posse, we're not into the unity. Unity is a Trojan horse, is what she says. We are into victory.
Amen, Natalie. Victory. That's what the posse's into. We're into victory. We've heard Steve Bannon say this on so many shows and in so many speeches. We will win. We are into victory.
Yep. We are not going along to get along anymore.
No more. And what's even great about that with coming up with Trump, you know, after him getting shot Saturday in the ear, and yes, it was shot. It was no glass. It was no anything else. But he has already planned a rally for him and Vice President J.D. Vance. First one, July 20th. Can you believe that? He has already set up a rally. And it's going to be in Michigan.
Grand Rapids at 5 p.m. Eastern. This will be President Trump and Senator Vance's first rally after officially accepting the Republican nomination for President and Vice President of the United States of America. They're getting right back to it. That's what I love about him. You know, I said this, he's freaking Captain America. He gets shot in the ear. Mm-hmm. He goes down to get cover, but as soon as he realizes that he's able to stand up, he doesn't stand up scared. He stands up pissed off, and he stands up raising his fist, and the first word out of his mouth is fight, fight, fight.
And you hear all in the mainstream media lately, he's changed. Look at him. He's different. You know what? I kind of feel like a little anger seething underneath. I watched his face a lot during yesterday. Now, the first day, he just looked tired.
Yeah.
Right? Well, yesterday in the RNC, I watched him on different speakers, and I really wasn't there to listen to them because they're just there to pander to President Trump. I know, except for Sarah Huckabee, and there's a certain few. But his face when a certain speaker would get up there, I'm not going to say any names, it would look like...
Yeah, you could definitely see
an arrow coming out of his eyes.
Especially when Nikki Haley got up there.
Yes. I mean, he's changed, they say. He's changed. Well, he don't have that happy smile on his face. You know what he has? He has, I'm going to get you back on his face now.
Yeah.
And good for him. I mean, I see it differently than the mainstream media. I see him foraging forward. And, yeah, his unity is all about victory as well.
You bet. And even as we talk about all the events of the week, and we talk about the assassination attempt, and we talk about the RNC, the one thing that we need to remember, and we have been so busy with all the other stuff that we've neglected to mention the other people that were there, the other victims in this thing. President Trump was not the only victim. And the names of those victims were finally released, which we already know of. Cory Patriot, who was 50. He was from Sarver, Pennsylvania. The other two that were injured and in critical condition, but I believe now they're in stable condition, I believe that to be true now. David Dutch, 57. He is of New Kensington, Pennsylvania. And James Copenhaver, 74, who is also from Moon Township, Pennsylvania.
Yes, we want to send our condolences. And what I thought was really amazing is that Trump, he speaks with Cory's family, and he offers condolences. And his wife, Helen, the widow of Cory, spoke with former President Trump on Tuesday. This is from Trending Politics News. I'm getting my information from. She confirmed in a social media post. She said, President Trump called me to share his condolences. He was very kind and said he would continue to call me in the days and weeks ahead. I told him the same thing I told everyone else. He left this world a hero, and God welcomed him in. He did not die in vain that day.
Let's go back to what Sarah Huckabee talked about. And that this is exactly President Trump. That phone call was not an obligation. That phone call was one concerned human being calling another to offer comfort and condolences and to let them know he's there with them, and he'll help them with anything they need. You know, that's humanity right there.
It is.
And the left hates humanity. I believe. I don't know whether, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I
does
will
that
say
sound
this.
bad? I mean,
I had heard that Joe Biden had tried to call her. She did not accept his call. So I just wanted to say that they did try to reach out, but she didn't accept his call because she knows what everybody else knows. There was something wrong that happened here, and that her husband should not have been shot.
exactly.
And that the major players in all of this is the Biden administration, and no answers whatsoever, no transparency.
Here's the things that we do know about this. And I got my information from Kyle Becker. And this is what we do know about the shooter and about everything that happened that day. And this is what Kyle writes on Twitter. He said that Thomas Crooks, the 20-year-old gunman who attempted to assassinate former President Donald Trump in Pennsylvania, was spotted on the roof 26 minutes before the shooting occurred. The FBI has also confirmed that Crooks was seen by law enforcement members from the Allegheny County Police Department on the roof of a building with a clear sightline to the former president. Despite being alerted to his presence, authorities failed to confront him, allowing him to remain hidden for nearly 30 minutes before he opened fire. These shocking new allegations have raised questions about how Crooks was able to evade detection and carry out the attack, which left Trump wounded and also Mr. Comparatori dead. And a sniper even took a picture of this suspect with a rangefinder and radioed to the command post before the assassination attempt. And this is what CBS reported. So he's on their radar for 30 minutes. Let me ask you a question, and this is even on a local level. If you climbed up onto the building of the concession stand at the football game, how long do you think it's going to take before authorities come up there and go, what are you doing, man? How long do you think it would take for them to confront you, come up there, take you down from that building, put you in cuffs, and take you to the car?
Right, because it says here a police officer actually confronted Crooks,
Yes.
who had a rifle. The police officer scrambled back down the ladder, allowing the shooter to fire at least 5 rounds at the former president. And you know what? No one warned President Trump at all that there might have been a little bit of a leak. No one warned him of anything.
Exactly.
Or any of his people that was around him, obviously. Or if they did, no one said anything. See, no one knows. We don't have this transparency.
No. Introducing Coffee Brothers, where passion meets perfection in every cup. Our journey began with a simple vision to craft the finest coffee experience for every coffee lover. From bean to brew, we meticulously select the highest quality beans from around the world, ensuring every sip is a symphony of flavor. So join the Coffee Brothers family and elevate your coffee experience to new heights. Whether you're starting your day or taking a moment to unwind, let us awaken your senses with the perfect cup of coffee. Taste the difference with Coffee Brothers, where every sip tells a story of passion, quality, and excellence.
Hey, y'all please click that link below, and thank you so much for supporting our sponsors. They help keep the show free. I had someone here on X, his name is Sean Davis, and he gives us a little bit more info of what happened afterwards, the timeline. And a lot of it is really scary because he shows that they deliberately starved Trump's security team of the resources it needed.
And they
did it repeatedly over many weeks and months. They kept like slowly getting out. And if you remember, also, Jill Biden and Kamala Harris were both in Pennsylvania that same day. So they took resources away from President Trump also on that day.
And you notice how the news reported it as resources, quote unquote, when actually it should have said officers, personnel, not resources. Because when people hear the word resources, you think of funding, or you think of vehicles, or you think of things you can use, not resources being personnel.
Right.
They should have said personnel. It would have made a lot more sense. You know, the thing is about this is that they're shady. All these three-letter agencies have been shady for a long time. Becker even gives a brief run-through of some recent major events in history where there's been little or no accountability, just like with this. And he says, let's run through recent major events, but he goes back all the way into the early 90s. You know, think about this: the Waco raid, the Ruby Ridge, the 9/11 attacks, the Russia hoax, the Steele dossier, Epstein, the Vegas shooting, and it just goes on with all the shady different things that they've done. The next one that it talked about was the Whitmer entrapment plot. Guys, if you want to ever see anything shady, there you go. And the Whitmer case is a prime example of the fact that we know this kind of stuff happens. Sean Davis in his tweet goes on to talk about this, and it's really good. He said, we know this happens because the FBI did it with Gretchen Whitmer. They recruited and urged disturbed individuals to buy weapons and put together a plan to kidnap her. In that case, the FBI wanted a story it could use to slime the right-wingers, so it created the story itself. What happens when an agency like that, or maybe even another three-letter agency, decides instead it's had enough of President Trump? Some former FBI agents might even call it an insurance policy.
Yeah. And he goes on to say who was the shooter talking to in the hours, days, and weeks ahead.
Yeah, there's all kinds of questions. But
they can't get to his phone. They say this morning, I believe they said they unlocked it, but no one's told us anything about what's on it. You know, that they've really scrubbed his social media.
yes,
They've scrubbed everything. What are we supposed to believe at all coming from any three-letter agency whatsoever?
Nope. And on top of that, you've got to factor in little or no accountability, the lack of transparency. The biggest tell in all of this was the fact that the head of the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, was not fired, and she refused to resign. And then what we do get from her is a CBS interview
Saying she did nothing wrong. They don't ever hold themselves to account whatsoever on anything. At some point, you just have to say, enough with the lies. We saw what they did with the Russia hoax. We saw the Kavanaugh hoax. We saw the COVID origin hoax. We saw the Ukraine hoax, the stolen election hoax, the January 6th op, and then the armed Mar-a-Lago raid, and the myriad of illegal cases against Trump. But this is all this lady can come out to say. Listen to her.
When you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock, and then concern, obviously, for the former president.
Investigators now trying to determine whether roof access had been properly locked down. The shooter climbing up seemingly unimpeded, about 400 feet from the stage, with a direct line of sight on the former president.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, you know, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, you know, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
So we don't want to put anybody's life in danger because of a safety issue, because of a sloped roof.
Right? I mean, that's just unbelievable. And, you know, they come out and they call him Hitler.
An existential threat.
They said he would destroy democracy. They said he was the most dangerous person on earth. Then they denied him security. They kept the rooftop open. They kept it open, and all because of a sloped roof. And they did nothing. They kept Trump on that stage, and they didn't do a damn thing until after he had been shot in the head. and we're all supposed to believe it was an innocent oopsie. I believe that the distrust in the three-letter agencies is justified.
And it's a national security risk for every American out here. We need transparency. We need accountability.
Is this thing working?
Rise up. Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
and we'll see you next time.
We're out.